That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Prisoners of the Ghostland, which had its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival. It's the English language debut of Sion Sono, cult Japanese filmmaker who I usually quite like, and starring Nicolas Cage.
I know I've seen some other films from this director.
Yes, the year that I dragged you to the Toronto Film Festival, we saw Coldfish in 2010, and he was present at that screening. And I've also made you watch his horror film about hair extensions.
Okay.
But to me, in my opinion, his crowning achievement was 2008's Love Exposure, 4-hour saga.
I like Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only reason I agreed to it was to watch this was because of Nicolas Cage, and you read a quote from the director saying that he hopes this is like the most outrageous we've ever seen Nicolas Cage.
Something along those lines.
Something along those lines. So I was excited. This film did not deliver that for me. It is busy and exhausting visually, to the point where I don't even know if I could. I mean, the basic plot is Nicolas
Cage is a man named Hero, and him and his sidekick Psycho, which is Nick Cassavetes.
So that's Nick Cassavetes. Oh, I'm acting like I know who that is.
Nick and Nick. Well, Nick Cassavetes is John Cassavetes' son.
Oh, I think I know who John Cassavetes is.
Yes, and Zan Cassavetes, and they were both together in Face Off as well. So Nick and Nick are robbing a bank. Nick Cassavetes plays a man named Psycho who kills a small child holding a cup of gumballs. And it notably, as we learn through several flashbacks, there's a young girl that's mowed down as Nicolas Cage is running away from authorities, and she grows up to be Bernice, played by Sofia Boutella. Anyway, Bernice is now an adult. She escapes this love hotel she's been put in by her adopted grandfather, who is Bill Moseley, as
the governor.
The governor, who you know Bill Moseley because he's Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
What?
Yeah,
that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
doing a lot of scenery showing. So the governor, who's dressed in all white, gets Hero out of prison and basically tells him, go get my granddaughter and bring her back, and you'll be absolved of everything. And they put him in this, how would you describe it?
Like an ill-fitting leather jumpsuit.
And attached to it are all these little nodules that are built in to sense that if he's going to cause any violence against a woman, i.e. Bernice, they will detonate and injure his arm or his leg, or there's one of these nodules on each testicle in case he decides to rape
So he's
her.
told he has 3 days to find this lady.
Yes.
So he goes, he finds her.
Mm-hmm.
He has to convince her to come back,
yes.
because she escaped where she was. She's not trying to be found.
Yeah, she was in this love hotel like
right.
with all these geishas. In Samurai Town, which is the world. It's this Mad Max type universe that...
It felt like Mad Max mixed with Kill Bill, mixed with with The Walking Dead, mixed with the Janet Jackson video If, because of where the geishas are.
Sure.
That reminded me.
See, I thought,
but not as fun as any of those movies.
I thought it felt like a Western musical mishmash as well, like John Ford's The Searchers mixed with some Garris Jacques Demy production design.
We were trying to give the basic plot. So Nick Cage is in prison. The governor man says, I'll let you out if you find Bernice, who had already broken out of this whorehouse because she doesn't want to be there. Nick Cage's character finds her, has to convince her to come back. But during that, there's what's this revolution shit?
Oh, yeah, there's also the kind of an uprising going on that's led by these nuclear fallout type characters that are led by Psycho, who's actually dead, but due to some Fukushima type incident, they're roaming the countryside, killing everybody.
But Bernice agrees to come back because she wants to take down the governor.
Yes.
And they're successful.
Yes.
The end.
Basically, yeah, that is about it.
That's what I was trying to do. Okay.
As I said, there are musical elements where the townspeople sing, sometimes kind of like a Greek chorus. There's
which could be fun.
Which could be fun, but it's not. Everything's not. There is a woman named Susie who I believe is it an Uzi? Susie with the Uzi that mows down everybody. She's kind of the unhinged spiritual prostitute sister to.
Okay, the governor rides around in like his caravan. Everyone worships him. And he, for some reason, brings along one of these other geisha girls, Susie, who seems to be special. Mm-hmm. That was very confusing to me. She didn't add anything but screeching that I found annoying.
Yeah.
So, as we were watching it, I thought like, oh, this movie is there was a lot of effort put into this film.
Yeah,
there is a lot going on. But I thought it felt like, because I'm not super familiar with the director, but it feels like whoever made this movie has access to like a prop store or something. There's just so many really cool costumes and
the set work and production design is impressive. It's just it doesn't really feel like this is a cohesive universe. It feels like I'm watching an exhibit, it feels like an art installation at a carnival. Is what it
yes,
like.
Yes, because there's
there's also a giant clock that is not working and time has stopped, and that's another mechanism.
Yes, but I was going to reference those people dancing as they do like a slideshow.
Oh yes, yep. Mm-hmm.
So there's this mechanism.
There's like an oral history going on.
Which all of it, when we say it, like as I'm saying it, would sound very interesting to me, but when it's put together, it just is too much. Too much of like
R2D too much.
R2D too much. Like some kind of goulash that doesn't have any seasoning. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just never any. It's just not fun, and it's also 2 hours. It's just not fun, and it's begging to be fun. But there are elements I did like. There's this Sayer of the Law type who's reading out loud out of Wuthering Heights instead of the Bible, reading instead of the Bible, which I thought was fun. It reminded me of stuff as a kid too. Like there's this, I think it's a 1991 movie with Rutger Hauer and Mimi Rogers called Wedlock, where they're prisoners in this futuristic place, and every prisoner is assigned to another one with this contraption around their neck, and if one of them goes too far away from the premises, the other person will explode, their heads will explode to stop people from running away. But the mechanism of that movie is they figure out that they're tied together in their wedlock and run away. It reminded me of that quite a bit, with kind of this cheesy sci-fi element that I do dig that. It's just I didn't. Even Nicolas Cage, who you would expect to, we're used to him being so over the top that now the very few glimpses that we get are just like.
We see Nicolas Cage in like a diaper.
Yeah.
He has a nice little body on him. Mm-hmm. I think there's one shot where it's a body double, and then I think when it is his body, there might be a little CGI, a little body painting going on. But I think Nick Cage looks good from the neck down. His head, someone close to him needs to let him know it's time to shave that head. But also, he is obviously coloring his beard and his hair, and it's very distracting because it's very poorly colored. Also, I'm assuming the shoot took several weeks. So we see various stages of beard growth and like gray hair growing in, which I thought was very distracting. I know that's just something only I would care about, but I think the appeal, I really like Nicolas Cage. I have a Nicolas Cage backpack over there. He needs to transition to something different, and I think just peppering him in to create like some razzle dazzle and some craziness in a lot of the films he's in is starting to wear a little thin on me, to the point where now, like after watching this movie, I don't like, it might be a hard sell for me to like automatically want to watch a Nick Cage like new feature.
I think he needs to be utilized in the correct way, kind of like Werner Herzog in Bad Lieutenant, Protocol New Orleans. He really pops. But he's not quite at the Bela Lugosi working for Ed Wood stage, but I wouldn't.
I think if he were styled differently, he could. Because the way he looks in this film and in many other films in the past 5-6 years, he looks crazy because of his hair and the way they do his like, yeah, just his styling in general.
I think Sion Sono is a little hit or miss for me too. I know a lot of people loved his Gonzo movie, Why Don't You Play in Hell from 2013, which I remember seeing at TIFF at a midnight screening, and I was exhausted, which might explain. But that movie felt exhausting. It's very, very overstuffed. So I really seem to appreciate Sion Sono when he's a little more restrained. But again, like, I'll watch anything he does because I'll be surprised, because I loved Guilty of Romance, but then Tokyo Tribes, which felt like Walter Hill's The Warriors, is a musical, which is... I thought of that film a couple times watching Prisoners of the Ghostland. But
okay.
And then poor Sofia Boutella, who, you know...
Oh, Bernice.
Bernice, who I think is beautiful, and it's great to like see her, because in a lot of films she's kind of behind prosthetics, like in Star Trek or The Mummy, who you know from Climax and Atomic Blonde. But poor thing, had nothing to do. There was nothing exciting for her to do.
No, even when she sort of decides to be part of this revolution to go back and take down the governor, like, she's like, yeah, let's go, like...
And even for having an exploded testicle in his hand, it just seemed like such a wasted prop.
I could be done talking about this movie.
Okay.
What would you give it?
2 out of 5.
All right, I'm not going to rate it because I just...
Oh.
Well, because I feel like I was so annoyed by it that I stopped paying attention at one point, and so to be fair to the people, I won't rate it. But is that all?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.